Hi there, I'm Dan Dawkins for Games Radar. I've played 35 hours plus of Metal Gear Solid 5. These are my non-spoiler tips for getting started in the game, including loads of little control things that can really help your enjoyment. For example, this. Press R1 as you're sat in the helicopter, and Big Boss goes into first person view, and you can look around and see snaps of your comrades and other things that will grow as the game expands. Don't forget you can press R3 to zoom while in first person mode. And if you look at the picture on the bottom right, could it be significant that the picture is folded? One of the very first things you should do after mission 1 is to head into the missions side op list and look for the mission that says Extract Interpreter. This will change the way you play the game, and once you've rescued the interpreter, you'll be able to hold up guards as I've just shown you, and they will reveal item locations, blueprint locations, and in key missions, the key object that you're looking for. You'll spend a lot of time in the character equip screen before each mission. Do not forget that rather than individually tinkering with all the different options, you can set loadouts which can be accessed by tapping L1 and R1. It's really useful to have loadout types for different types of mission. For example, you might have a utility loadout like my loadout 1 here, which has a automatic machine gun and a rocket launcher, or you might want a more precise loadout like my loadout 2, which contains a sniper rifle. It's possible to have 3 different loadouts that you can be chosen in the mission select screen, and don't worry, when you're actually in mission, you can select to have a new loadout airdropped in. A really simple thing, but if you're escaping an alert on foot and you need to speed things up and you've got D-Horse with you, hold L1, keep doing it while sprinting, call D-Horse, and he'll run alongside you, and it's possible to do a sprinting mount into a tree. Here's a quick tip for accepting missions. Don't forget that when you've accepted the mission, you are not restricted to one landing zone, and your choice of landing zone can have a huge tactical effect on the way you come into the mission. Here we see this in mission 5, I would recommend this LZ. It's pretty obvious to anyone who's played Metal Gear Solid that the best way to tranquilise or knock out one of your foes is to headshot them in the face with a tranquilizer dart. It's also worth noting that when you're in aim mode, tapping R1 activates the first person view, and that is the best way to target for a headshot from long distance. Don't forget that when targeting from a long distance, you have to adjust for the wind and dynamic flight of the dart, so aim slightly above the guard's head. As the game progresses, Snake gets loads of items and weapons. It can make navigating the D-pad menu quite bewildering. There you've got like 6 or 7 options to choose from. Now a quick way to do it is, rather than going to the menu and then cycling around with the right stick, is if you just keep tapping, let's say down, you can cycle quickly between your pistol or your bionic arm, and that's a very quick way to do it on the move. When you're in the field and ammunition is running short, for example with your tranquilizer pistol, which affects your chances of going through undetected and silently taking people out, you can request a supply drop. Now there is a long-winded way to do this from the main iDroid menu by going to missions and supply drop, but a quicker way to do it perhaps is to head to the map screen, use L2 and R2 to zoom in. Triangle is Snake's location there. Now zoom in on the centre of the road you're facing, make sure no guards can see you. Now if you use up and down on the D-pad, you can quick skip to different options based on a marker. So you can place or remove a marker, you can request a helicopter supply, or as we want, resupply ammo and Fulton. So we press X, supplies requested.
Mother base is now in the red.
We can see that's coming in from the little hexagon shape there. Now we've got to wait a short amount of time for that to come down, so a quick way to speed that up is to head to our Phantom Cigar, get it out, press R3 to smoke it,
Supply drop complete.
and the supply drop's complete. And unfortunately, while I did that, the guard patrol changed and the guard woke up from the tranq bullet. Once you've knocked out a guard, it's not too late to interrogate them. To wake them up from a sleeping position, merely walk up to them, press R2 for CQC, you'll boot them and they'll wake up. Now you need to wait for the moment when R2 comes up again. Now grab them, and when they're grabbed, press L1. And from this position you've got a variety of options. The most important is usually spit it out, press R3. And he's giving me the location of some blueprints. Now from this position, you can just simply press R2 again several times to slam into the floor. It's also possible to hold up guards with your weapon, and that is also possible while a guard is sleeping. Just kick him awake, move aside with your weapon, and the guard will put his hand over his head. Now he will remain in that prone position until roused by another guard, and that is as effective as using a knockout dart or a knockout tactic. When you're in the chopper off mission, you can return to Mother Base at any time, go to missions, return to Mother Base. Now later in the game, a really cool option is you can visit your animal conservation platform, which is basically a mobile zoo. So press triangle and let's pop in and see our animals. So we'll drop in and see who we've got. The animal conservation platform is not without its in-jokes. There's a little sign encouraging you for no guns, but Fultons are okay. So there we can see some captured animals in their, well, new live habitat. If you want to see the animals you're missing, go into the iDroid, head to Mother Base, go down to your database and the encyclopedia, and you can see a list of all the animals, their rarity, and it will give you ideas about where to find them. A key tactic when approaching any base is to use your binoculars, so just tap R1. Now from here, you can press R3 to zoom in, and with the upgraded version of the binoculars, it will scan your foes and tell you exactly how skilled they are, which might affect your decision whether to Fulton extract the guards. You'll also notice that in the bottom left-hand corner, the goggles have their own microphone, which is extremely useful when detecting people through buildings. Once you've scanned your foe, it's a simple job to press L2 and place a marker. Now you can track him anywhere he goes on the map. MGS5 doesn't feature codec in the way it used to, but most of the more hardcore lore elements are contained within cassette tapes. Go to your iDroid, choose cassette tapes. Now an interesting tip here is if you press R2, you pop out the player. So if you've got 6 tapes to listen to in a row, rather than listening to them all at once and individually pressing play, go to the all one option and you can listen to them all in one loop. And that will keep playing all the time you're walking around in the chopper whenever you want. As you play the game and extract troops through Fulton balloons, you'll build up a really large mother base. Now, to assign your staff to different tasks can be done manually, but that's painstaking. The quickest way to do it is to tap R3, and you can assign all staff to the units that best suit them. When you auto-assign troops, sometimes the game puts troops in positions you don't want them to be, but you can tie them to permanent contracts to areas you want. So to do that, head into R2 to sort. Then if you want to recruit for the R&D team, sort it in descending order. So your best R&D people appear at the top. There we can see Crying Bat's got a C grade for R&D. Now if you press L2, you can tie him to the R&D department. A cheeky tip for the cardboard box, if you go into it in the selection menu, left D-pad, you can press square to change the poster on the box. So for example, you could have the horizontal poster of a semi-clothed woman, or you could have the tall picture of a guard. Now these are different for different situations. So there's the guard. Now I'm in the crouching position. If I press X to stand up, hello, well, I'm actually now a stood up guard, and this will amazingly fool the slightly more stupid enemies. And from this position you can still pop out and shoot. There's a lot of options on the iDroid that you don't always use that can seem a bit bewildering. For example, the different map modes, which can align the map so it's always north facing or facing your direction of travel. Now, one way to work out what's what is to tap the bottom left corner of the facepad, and it overlays a help menu that shows you exactly what to do. You can see you can then scroll through that with the D-pad, and it tells you everything you need to know. Ditto for Mother Base, we're looking at staff management. It's just really useful. As you know, you can find really cool 80s music tapes as you explore the world. Now to find them, head into your iDroid, into missions, go down to cassette tapes, and then R1 to go across to your music tapes. You can see some there, some of the more Metal Gear themed ones. Now you're going to music tape 2, these are the more licensed tracks. Now if you go to A Hard's Take on Me, which we all love, press square, and you can set that to your helicopter music, so when it drops into battle it will be beaming out Morton Harkett's finest. If you're short of GMP to complete a upgrade project, don't forget you can go into your resources and sell your stock of the readily available fuels and biological material available in the world. Here we've got our fuel resources 2191. Just sell an absolute whacking load of it. We know we're going to find more. We'll whack this up to like 500 and you can make some really easy money, and you can develop some more exciting tools and weapons. Okay, thanks for watching. Don't forget these are beginner's tips, so please don't lambast the comments with me being not good enough at the game. I don't want to blow any spoilers just yet. Here's a fun one for you while you're wearing the cardboard box. sprint, then tap square to do an emergency dive, and it's an instant toboggan. Yes, that's pretty fun. So here we go. Bye! Whoa! It's okay, like the video and subscribe for more great MGS videos on the channel. See you soon.